Okay, so these are the test corrections for equations. You should be able to tell which one is this one on your data analysis. So make sure you have the right one. The other one should read test corrections inequalities. So make sure that you have the correct one. So remember, you still need to get a sheet of paper and separate it in two parts and put the following headers as when you actually separate the two columns. So on the top, put test corrections page and make sure you put equations on the top because this is going to help me realize which part you are correcting. So make sure that you have my answer, right answer, work. And on this side, you're going to be showing all the work that you're doing, what you had answered, and then the correct answer. And then on the other side, why I got it wrong, then this side you're going to write in your own words the mistakes you made in complete sentences. So go ahead and turn off the video so you'll be able to separate those two columns and write the headers on them and then come back to the video. So here's number one. The area of the triangle shown is 375 square centimeters. And they gave you a picture, but in reality, you really don't need a picture. It says the area can be represented by the equation h times 25 equals 375. What is h? The height of the rectangle in centimeters. So because this is a multiplication equations, then the inverse operation would be division. So what you would do, you would divide 375 divided by 25. Okay, and that's going to be 25 into 37 is 1 time, which is 25. Your remainder is going to be 12. And then 25 into 125 is 5 times. Let me move this up. So that's going to be 125, and your remainder is 0. So in this case, my answer is 15. The height is 15. Now, in some of them, you're going to have, in this one, you had actual griddable. You didn't have a griddable on your actual test. You had the multiple choice, so make sure you have them. But I'm going to show you anyways on how to place it on the griddable because that will help you out. So the griddable, you would put 1, 5. Always put the number on top. Some of you forget to do that. Make sure you always do that. And then fill in the 1 and the 5. Now, because this is a whole number, remember there's an imaginary decimal at the end. You do not need to fill in the zeros, but you're welcome to do so if you want to. So go ahead and go back to your test. Make sure you look at what you did wrong, and then go ahead and explain in your own words on the other column, and then come back to the video. Okay, so here's number 3. Which model shows two expressions when the value of x is 4? So let's look at them. So on the first one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4x. And on the other side is 4. If you were to solve this, 4x is equal to 4. This means multiplication, so that means I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. So x will equal to 1. So in this case, A is not your answer. So make sure you put that correctly. For letter B, you have 4x and it goes to 1. So we have 4x is equal to 1. This is multiplication, so you would divide. So in this case, this becomes x is equal to 1/4. So that means this is not 4. So my answer B is not going to be correct. Okay, so let's look at C. C has 1x plus 2 equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this. X plus 2 equals 5. So because it's a addition problem, the inverse operation is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2 on each side. So 2 minus 2 is 0, so you bring down the x, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So now this one is still not correct because it does not equal to 4. The last one, you have for 2x, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. So we're going to go ahead and put 2x is equal to 8. Because it's a multiplication problem, the inverse operation is division. So I'm dividing 2 divided by 2 is x. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So x is equal to 4. So my answer is going to be 4 because x equals to 4 and it's asking for the value of 4 up here, then my answer is letter D. So go ahead and go to your test. Make sure you look at what answer you chose and then explain your mistakes. Remember, you do need to show everything I show on this video to give you credit. Number 4. Number 4 reads, what value of x makes this equation true? So that means we need to solve for x. So remember, we always draw that line of fairness rule. So then we're going to go ahead and look where our variable is. Because our variable is with the 100, negative 100, then that means that's the number I want to undo. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and do the opposite or inverse operation. So because it's a negative 100, then I'm going to go ahead and zero it out or make zero pairs by putting positive 100. So you do that to the other side because remember, fairness rule, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other side. So then we go ahead and see. So negative 90 plus 100 equals to 10. Remember your integer rules. When you have a negative and a positive, then you need to subtract them and keep the sign of your more of, which is 100. So this is going to be positive 10, and then 100 minus negative 100 plus 100. Remember that zero pairs, so that cancels each other out. So you're left with x. So x equals to positive 10. So if we look at our answers, I know D and C are not possible because it's 190. So it's between A and B. So because this is a positive 10, my answer is going to be B. So let's go ahead and check our answers. So if we're going to go ahead and check our answers by substituting x. And you could have done that too. Instead of doing all this work, you could have actually substituting all the answers to see if it gives it correct. So you have negative 90 is equal to negative 100 plus 10. So negative 90 stays the same. So what we're going to do is see if this equals to negative 90. So remember, with the integer rules, you have a negative and a positive. That means you're going to subtract. So 100 minus 10 is 90. And then the one that you have more of is a negative. So my answer is going to be a negative. So that means a negative 90 does equal to a negative 90. So my answer is correct. It is letter B. So go ahead and stop the video and go and check your answers and explain your mistakes. So here's number 7. Holly bought a magazine subscription for a year. She paid $27. Holly wanted to find the price of P, the subscription, each month. She created the model shown to help find this price. What was the price of the subscription each month? So the $27 is what she paid yearly. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That represents 12 months. So if there's 12 months and she paid $27, then I know it's 12 times the number, I'm going to put M for month, is equal to 27. So in this case, because there's $27 in as a whole, and then you have the prescription for 12 months, then that subscription, for 12 months, then that means you're going to divide. So I'm going to go ahead and divide that. So here we're going to go ahead, divide by 12. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on the side because 12 divided by 12 is 1. So we're left with M. So now it's going to be 27 divided by 12. So 12 into 27 is 1 time. Ooh, it's 2 times actually, which is 24. Remainder is 3. Add a decimal and a 0, Remember, you have to add that decimal zero, bring it down. So 12 into 30 is 2 times again. So that's 24. Remainder is 6. So add another 0, bring it down. So 12 into 60 is 5 times, which is 60. Remainder is 0. So that means my subscription was $2.25. So my answer should be letter B. So we're going to go ahead and circle that. And you could always go back and check. I could put $2.25 for each of these and then multiply it by 12 and see if it gives me 27. So it should have been that. Now, if you were to think about it, if that all of it equals 27 and you go back and look at it, you know that 1 can be possible because that's more than 27. C can't be possible because that's more than 27. So it could have been between B and D. So it's up to you how you choose to look at that. But you may have eliminated 2 answers before you even divided. So go ahead and turn off the video, stop the video, make sure that you go back and explain your answers and make sure that you're writing in complete sentences. So number 8 is when you want to try to write a situation for a given equation. In this case, it's asking for cannot. But what I'm going to do, I'm still going to write an expression for each equation. Each situation. That way you could go ahead and compare them after you've done with all of them. So let's go ahead and get started. So here it says, Marissa spent $45 on a hat and a shirt. The hat cost $10. What is X, the cost of the shirt in dollars? So we know that Marissa spent $45 total. Okay? It's saying a hat plus a shirt. They're telling you the hat is $10, but we don't know what the shirt is. So if we look at it, this is my equation. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. The next one says, Nicholas rode his bike 45 miles last week. He rode 10 miles in Tuesday and the rest of the miles on Wednesday. What is X the number of miles Nicholas rode his bike on Wednesday? So let's see. It says Nicholas rode 45 miles last week. So that's your total, 45 miles. So 45 miles. And then they're telling you it's going to be on Tuesday plus Wednesday. So when you're doing this, 45 miles, on Tuesday he rode 10 miles. So we want to know how many miles he rode on Wednesday. So that is my equation for my problem. So let's go ahead and look at letter C. 2 players scored a total of 45 points in a game. One player scored 10 points. What is X, the number of points scored by the other player? So again, 45 is your total. So I'm going to go ahead 45. And it's player 1 plus player 2. So player 1 scored 10 points, but we don't know what player 2 scored. So then we're going to go ahead and finish that. Then the last one, there are 45 students in a group. There are also 10 adults in the group. What is X, the total number of students and adults in a group? So we don't know what the total is. We know there's students plus adults. They're telling us that students, there's 45, but there's no adults. We don't know the number of adults. Oh no, hold on. Yes, we do know the number of adults, so that's going to be 10. So we're trying to find a total. So this is the equation for this problem. So let's go back to our question. It says, which situation cannot be represented by the equation x plus 10 equals 45? So we have 45 equals 10 plus s. Well, s is a missing number. It could be replaced with x. So 45 equals 10 plus x. Even though it's written differently because they have 45 first and then they have x first on the other side, it doesn't matter because of that property that we know, the commutative property. It doesn't matter if you put x plus 10 or 10 plus x, it still should give you the same amount. So A seems like it's a correct answer. Let's look at B. Again, you have 45, same thing, plus 10 plus W. Again, I could put X for W. And again, the community property, I could write X plus 10 and then put 45 on the other side. So this seems to be another correct answer. Let's look at C. C has 45 equals 10 plus P2 actually. So we could replace that with X, and it's the same as the other two. So that means this third one is similar. So I mean that's another correct answer. And let's look at letter D. Letter D, you have the total is equal to 45 plus 10. In this case, I would need to add that to give me 55. It's not the total. So that means D is not the correct answer, which makes it the actual answer for this problem. So my answer should be letter D. So go ahead and stop the video, look at the problems, look at what you answered and how you answered it, and then go and explain your answers in complete sentences. Your mistakes, sorry, not your answers. Okay, here's number 9. Johnny uses a balanced scale to solve the equation shown below. Which value of x best represents the solution to the equation? So remember, we do have to write the equation. So let's go ahead and look at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's negative 5. And then remember, this represents equals because it's balanced. So you have an x plus 2. So in this case, I went ahead and wrote down the answers. So what I need to do is figure out which of the answers is correct. So there, I'm going to show you the substituting way. And the substituting way is that you pick each of the answers and check which one is correct. So let's go ahead and do negative 5. So I'm substituting x with negative 3. So negative 3 plus 2. So let's go ahead and do negative 3 plus 2 with the integer rules. Means when they have different signs, you're going to subtract. So 3 minus 2 is 1, because, and then you figure out which one is a symbol, because there 3 is more than 2, then that means negative 1 is going to be your answer. So if I have negative 5 on one side and negative 1 on the other side, that means those do not match, so that means A is not your answer. Let's look at B. So negative 5 is equal to 7 plus 2. So let's go ahead and 7 plus 2, that's going to be 9. So you have negative 5, and compared to 9, that is not the same answer. So that means B is incorrect. Let's look at C. So you have negative 5 is equal to negative 7 plus 2. So in this case, negative 5 equals to negative 7 plus 2. Remember, you have to look at the different signs, because they're different signs. You're going to subtract. So 7 minus 2 is 5, because negative 7 is more than 2, then we're keeping the negative sign. So is negative 5 the same as negative 5? It is, so that's a possible answer, but I'm still going to check the last one. The last one has negative 5 is equal to 2 plus 2. So let's look at that. So negative 5 stays there. 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative 5 plus is not equal to positive 4, so that means that's not a correct answer. So my answer is letter C. So if you notice, I did substitution. You could also do by solving it the way we've been learning. So negative 5 is equal to x plus 2. So we do the fairness rule line. We're going to go ahead and do the opposite operation, which is negative 2, because that's with a variable. So then you have negative 5 and negative 2. They're the same signs. Integer rule says if they're the same signs, you're going to add and keep the sign. And then 2 minus 2 is 0, so we're left with x. So negative 7 is equal to x. So if you notice, we have -7 as my answer, so that means my answer is correct. So you could do it either method, do the substitution like I did for all of the answers, or you could solve it the way we've been learning. So go ahead and stop the video, go look at your mistakes, and then come back to the video. Okay, so now that you've done with all your test corrections, make sure that you staple it together with your test. Make sure that you did both components, showed all your work, and explain your mistakes, and then come to the Google Forms in your Google Classroom. This is what you should be working on: equations retest. There are 5 questions. Each question is 6 points. So remember, by doing the test corrections, you get an automatic 70. Then you come back to this, and then you solve all these, and whatever points you get, that's what's added to your test. So make sure you're working on that. Make sure you're taking your time. If you need a sheet of paper to show your work, make sure you turn that in with your test corrections too. So good luck on this, and thank you for trying to improve your test grade. Well, if you have any questions, you know I'm here, I'm available. So ask me anytime that you feel like you need any questions or any clarifications. So good luck again.